The lights are still dim, the crowd is buzzing, and before anything even happens on stage, there is a familiar energy in the room. This is the place where impossible things somehow become real. Where ordinary people walk in carrying nothing but a dream, and walk out as legends. The judges take their seats, and the camera finds Simon Cowell, calm but watchful, leaning back with that expression that says he has seen everything, yet is still waiting to be surprised. He has judged singers who shook the world, dancers who defied gravity, magicians who bent reality, but tonight, even he has no idea that what he is about to witness will quietly rewrite the limits of the human body. The host steps forward, smiling, building suspense with every word. The audience claps, whistles, cheers. Then, from the side of the stage, a young woman appears. She doesn't rush. She doesn't wave dramatically. She simply walks, slowly and carefully, as if she is carrying a secret no one else can see. She looks calm, almost fragile, dressed simply, without flashy costume or glitter. The kind of person you might pass on the street and never imagine could do something extraordinary. Simon glances at her, curious but reserved. How many times has he seen this exact walk? How many hopeful faces has he watched step onto that stage? Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. And yet, there is something different here. Something quiet, something controlled. She introduces herself softly. Her voice is gentle, respectful, but steady. She talks about her passion, about how her body moves in ways most people cannot understand. She doesn't boast. She doesn't exaggerate. She simply says this is who she is. The judges exchange quick looks. Contortion. They have seen it before. Amazing. Yes, but also familiar. Simon nods slowly, as if to say, show us what makes you different. The music begins, low and atmospheric. The lights shift into a soft glow. And then, she does something no one expects. She bends. Not in a dramatic, explosive way. Not with a sudden snap that shocks the crowd. Instead, she folds. Slowly. Deliberately. Like paper being creased by invisible hands. Her spine curves inward, her shoulders roll forward, and her head disappears beneath her chest. Gasps ripple through the audience. Phones come up. Hands fly to mouths. Simon's posture changes instantly. He leans forward. She keeps folding. Her body compresses in on itself in a way that looks unreal, unnatural, like a visual illusion. And then, when everyone thinks this is the peak, she does something that feels impossible. She takes a step. Folded completely in half, she starts walking. The crowd explodes. People scream. Not cheers. Screams. The kind that come from disbelief. From the brain refusing to accept what the eyes are seeing. She walks slowly at first, each step careful, precise, controlled. Her balance is perfect. Her body, folded in a way that should not allow movement, glides forward as if this is the most natural thing in the world. Simon's mouth opens slightly. He doesn't speak. He just watches. The other judges are frozen. One leans forward with wide eyes. Another shakes their head slowly, laughing in pure disbelief. This isn't just flexibility. This isn't just pain tolerance. This is mastery. This is someone who understands their body on a level most humans will never reach. She changes direction mid-walk. Turns. Still folded. Still moving. The music builds, deeper, darker, more intense. The lights flicker subtly, casting long shadows that make her silhouette even more surreal. She looks like a creature from another world, something ancient and impossible. Then she stops. For a moment, there is silence. She begins to unfold, vertebra by vertebra, slowly rising back into human shape. Each movement is controlled, elegant, almost beautiful. When she finally stands upright, fully straight, the crowd erupts into thunderous applause. Simon claps slowly at first. Then faster. Then he stands. When Simon Cowell stands, it means something. The applause grows louder, the cheering almost deafening. She smiles, breathing deeply, eyes shining but calm. She bows slightly, humble, grateful. Simon picks up his microphone. He pauses, letting the noise settle just enough to be heard. I have seen a lot, he says. I mean a lot. And I genuinely thought there was nothing left that could surprise me in this world. But that was something I have never seen before. The crowd cheers again. He continues, his tone serious now. This wasn't just flexibility. This was artistry. Control. Something that borders on the impossible. And I don't say this lightly, that was one of the most disturbing and fascinating things I have ever watched on this stage. She laughs softly, relieved. Another judge speaks, saying they couldn't even look away, that it was uncomfortable and mesmerizing at the same time. Another calls it hauntingly beautiful. Simon nods. Exactly. Haunting. You made us feel something. You made us uncomfortable, amazed, and completely locked in. That's what this show is about. The host steps forward, building tension. It's time for the votes. Yes, yes, yes. Simon looks at her one more time. He smiles slightly before delivering his answer. Yes. 4 yeses. The crowd goes wild. She covers her mouth in disbelief, eyes filling with tears. She bows again, overwhelmed, as the judges applaud her once more. She walks off the stage, no longer folded, but carrying something far more powerful now. Validation. Backstage, she exhales deeply, leaning against the wall, still shaking. This was her moment. Years of training, pain, discipline, and doubt led to these few minutes. And she didn't just perform. She made history. As the show continues, people in the audience can't stop talking about her. Social media lights up instantly. Clips begin circulating before the episode even ends. Comments flood in. How is that possible? Is she human? That broke my brain. I had to rewind 5 times. Even Simon, later in the episode, references her again. That contortionist, he says, shaking his head. Unbelievable. In the days that follow, the video explodes. Millions of views. Reaction videos. Slow motion breakdowns. Doctors analyzing her movements. Athletes admitting they couldn't do 1% of what she did. Fans calling it the creepiest and coolest act they've ever seen. But behind the viral clips and headlines is a deeper story. She didn't wake up one day able to fold herself in half and walk. This was years of dedication. Of listening to her body. Of pushing limits safely, intelligently, patiently. Of being told she was strange, different, even frightening. Of choosing not to stop. She learned early that her body spoke a different language. Where others saw limits, she felt possibilities. Where others felt pain, she learned control. But it wasn't easy. There were injuries, doubts, moments where quitting seemed logical. Yet she continued. Because for her, this wasn't about shock. It was about expression. About showing that the human form is far more capable than we imagine. Back on the AGT stage, weeks later, Simon watches her again during a recap. He smiles knowingly. He knows talent when he sees it. And he knows when something will be remembered. This act will be remembered. Not just because she folded herself in half. Not just because she walked that way. But because she reminded everyone watching that wonder still exists. That the impossible still has room to surprise us. That even in a world where we think we've seen everything, there are still people who can step onto a stage, bend reality, and leave us speechless. And somewhere out there, a young dreamer is watching that clip, wide-eyed, inspired, realizing that being different isn't a weakness. It's power. Because sometimes, the most unforgettable moments don't come from shouting or flying or explosions. Sometimes, they come from a quiet figure walking onto a stage, folding herself in half, and walking straight into the night doesn't end when she leaves the stage. In many ways, That is when everything truly begins. Back in the judge's lounge, Simon is still talking about her. He's leaning back on the sofa now, one leg crossed over the other, shaking his head slowly. You could see it really got to him. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in that quiet Simon Cowell way where you know something has genuinely impressed him. He says he keeps replaying the moment in his head when she took that first step while folded. That was the moment, he explains, when the act stopped being just flexible and became unforgettable. Meanwhile, backstage, the performer sits alone for a few minutes, letting the noise fade out of her ears. The applause still echoes in her chest. Her body feels light and heavy at the same time. Years of training have taught her how to control every muscle, every breath, but emotions are harder to fold away. She wipes her eyes, smiles to herself, and finally stands up to face the cameras waiting outside. When she walks into the interview area, the crew greets her with excitement. People clap. Someone says that was insane. Someone else says they've never seen anything like it. She smiles shyly, almost embarrassed by the attention. When asked how she feels, she pauses. Then she says it feels like being understood for the first time. That sentence doesn't make the broadcast cut, but it matters. As the episode airs across the country, living rooms fall silent during her performance. Families stop scrolling on their phones. Kids sit up straight. Even people who usually wait for singers suddenly realize they can't look away. The moment she folds and starts walking, the same reaction repeats again and again. Gasps, laughter, shocked silence. On social media, the clip spreads faster than anyone expects. Not just dance fans or AGT viewers, but athletes, doctors, yoga instructors, physical therapists. People slow it down frame by frame, trying to understand how her joints align, how her balance works, how her spine curves without collapsing. Experts argue respectfully in comment sections. Some say it's extreme flexibility combined with years of neurological training. Others say it's body awareness on a near superhuman level. Simon sees the numbers the next morning. Millions of views overnight. He smiles to himself. This is exactly what the show is supposed to do. At rehearsals for the next round, she returns to the theater quietly. No dramatic entrance. No entourage. Just her, a water bottle, and a small bag. Other contestants recognize her immediately. Some stare in awe. Some approach her carefully, unsure what to say. One dancer tells her she couldn't sleep after seeing that act. Another contestant admits they felt scared but inspired at the same time. She listens politely, nodding, thanking them. Inside, she feels something new. Belonging. Simon watches her rehearsal from the back of the theater. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't critique. He just observes. This time, she's experimenting. New transitions. Slower movements. Even more control. When she finishes, the room is silent again. Simon finally speaks. Don't make it bigger just to make it bigger, he says. What you do is powerful because it feels real. Don't lose that. She nods. That advice stays with her. On performance night, the pressure is different. Expectations are higher now. People are waiting to be shocked again. That can be dangerous. But she doesn't chase shock. She chases truth. The music starts softer this time. Almost emotional. Her movements are slower, more deliberate. Instead of immediately folding, she allows the audience to see her face, her humanity. Then she begins. The folding feels more fluid now, more expressive. When she walks again, it's not just a trick. It's storytelling. Every step feels intentional, almost symbolic. Simon's eyes never leave the stage. The applause is even louder than before. Judges praise her growth, her intelligence, her restraint. Simon says something rare. You are not just a performer. You are a category of one. That line makes headlines. As the competition continues, she doesn't win every vote. Some people still find the act unsettling. Some admit it makes them uncomfortable. But she understands that now. She knows discomfort can be powerful. It means people are feeling something real. Week by week, she proves she's not just a moment. She's an artist. Offstage, she starts receiving messages from people around the world. Young performers who feel different. People with unusual abilities who were told to hide them. Parents of kids who bend and move in ways doctors can't explain. Thank you, they write, for showing that different doesn't mean wrong. Simon reads some of those messages too. Quietly. He doesn't talk about them on camera. But they remind him why he still sits behind that desk after all these years. The finale arrives faster than anyone expects. The theater is packed. The energy is electric. This is it. One last performance. One last chance to leave a mark. She stands backstage, eyes closed, breathing deeply. She doesn't think about winning. She thinks about that first day she realized her body moved differently. About the confusion, the fear, the acceptance, the choice to turn something strange into something beautiful. When she steps onto the stage, the applause is already thunderous. She begins. This time, the act is slower, deeper, almost poetic. Folding, unfolding, walking, stopping. Each movement feels like a sentence. When she takes that iconic walk one last time, folded perfectly in half, the crowd rises to their feet before she even finishes. Simon stands too. When the music ends, there is no hesitation. The theater erupts. Cheers. Tears. Standing ovation. No matter what the results say, one thing is clear. She didn't just compete. She changed the way people see the human body. She changed the way people see difference. And long after the season ends, long after new acts come and go, there will still be that clip. That moment. That impossible walk. A reminder that sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is embrace exactly who you are, even if the world has never seen anything like you before.